Scott Townsend. Scott is the marketing manager at Urban Airship.
Yeah, so Urban Airship started about 2.5 years ago, and basically our main goal is to give our customers the opportunity to engage and monetize their audiences in mobile. The real crux of a problem that we're trying to solve is the one of these 3 boxes on the left, the fact that a majority of people's mobile time is spent in mobile apps. The average person will engage with about 15 apps in a given month. But the weird thing is that the average app had a lifespan of 1 month. And really what was causing this is that there is so much competition for your attention on this device that the apps that aren't Facebook and aren't your weather app get forgotten very easily. So what we do is we give those apps a voice through push notifications. Well, actually, if you go to the next slide, we drive engagement through push notifications, which is basically like, imagine a text message that gets delivered from your application to your device based off of any context. It could be that a friend just favorited your picture. It could be that because of where you are right now in the direction you're traveling, that there's an accident in front of you and you should reroute yourself. And it could be anything in between. Customers like ESPN are using it to blast out the sports scores to your favorite teams. So that's driving engagement. For generating revenue, we give people with great content the ability to sell that content or develop subscriptions for that content. So like the New York Times is a customer of ours for their subscription product. And then games like Tap Tap Revolution, they use that product to sell additional boards, additional games. And then we have a reporting product that allows you to learn and improve. So there's a big limitation for app developers in that none of the major platforms allow them to have any information of the usage of their app. So they're bound to the App Store ratings and the number of downloads to make any strategic business decision. Now, I don't know about you, but if everything I did could only be judged by 1 through 5 stars, I'd go nuts. So then scaling across platforms, it used to be very easy where, you know, if you created a television ad, it would run on all televisions. But now, because we've got such competition between the major players, Apple, Google, Microsoft, they're going to make it very difficult for app developers and people who want to reach all audiences. They don't allow those different technologies to play nicely. So we make it very easy for that voice we create to be applied across all devices. Next slide. And then here's just a couple proof points that this stuff really works. Dictionary.com created a 3-time increase in their app usage. Jelly, which is a social radio station, I don't know if you've ever used it, it's pretty cool. You get to put songs up there, let the community vote, and then it gets played on real radio stations, so you can see if you listen to it in your car or on your Walkman. And then driving commerce, this daily deal site, which was an email-based daily deal site, they started sending daily push notifications, and they were able to increase their mobile traffic by 60%. They increased the conversion rates in mobile by 40% because the application was more effective than their optimized for mobile web experience. And then they were able to increase mobile orders by 20%, mainly because on the weekends and holidays when people were less inclined to react to an email, they were reacting to that push notification that went directly to their device. So that's us. Yes, some apps are definitely garbage and some apps are not connected to your life, but then on the other hand, there are apps that are absolutely connected to your life. Things like Facebook and Instagram, I use them daily, several times a day. But something like an Angry Birds, maybe I played with it a couple times and then got bored because the birds just kind of kept laughing at the pigs. But what will change, I think, is that in order to stay relevant, apps are going to have to be more useful, and they're going to have to be more mindful of what you're looking for. So if brands want to play in the app space, they can't take the traditional model that they're used to, which is it's all about me, you know, it's all about my beautiful brand. It's really going to have to, they're going to have to adjust the language to what that brand does for the consumer. Nike's already doing it with Nike Plus. It's brilliant. It has nothing to do with running shoes, but it has everything to do with running shoes. Weber Grills has a similar example where they'll take you through a day of grilling. And other companies are going to have to figure that out. What is their key driver, and do they need an app or not? There's a huge battle right now between the mobile web and the application space. Ben had talked about that search is the #1 activity. So Google is obviously leading this charge to keep search alive, and they're placing all their bets on the mobile web because that's where they're going to make their money. Where Apple sees all the future resting in apps because that's where they make their money. They have all the control through their app system. And that's going to be a big shakeout and something interesting to watch as we move into 2012. Well, I think search and notification are going to start to blur a little bit, and notification will start to take over as we spend our lives with our mobile devices in our pockets. Our mobile devices are in our pockets more than in our hands, which is going to lead to more opportunities to notify you that something important is happening. Where search is a very lean forward and intent-driven activity, we will get smarter and better at figuring out what you are looking for before you need to start searching for it. So I think that's going to be something interesting to look for. I think the smartphone is going to be the phone in the next, in a few years, the smartphone will just be the phone. So that will not stop. That smartphone sales are going to continue to increase. Everyone's going to have one.
That's across all socioeconomic.
Well, when you're developing and when you're doing marketing, like what's your #1 thing you're worried about, or what are the device you're focused on?
We're focused on the Apple devices because they're doubling down on apps, and we see more play from both customer interest to their consumer interest in Apple products. The key question is not like what budget do I need for an app, but the key question is, do you need an app or not? If you're going to build an app, you need to have a strategy for what that app's going to deliver that your mobile web experience can't, because the mobile web is sort of the basic. You need to optimize for the mobile web. And then after that, it's, do I have an experience that I want to bring to a native app that will be worth doing? Not everyone needs one. That's the stone cold truth. But then if you do want to create a mobile app, depending on what your budget looks like, there are companies that will they're called platform as a service companies. PhoneGap is one, Accelerator is one, and basically what they'll do is give you the ability to take your website and convert it into a mobile app, or build a mobile app with a different tool set, so you're not starting from scratch. And then from there, the next step up, if you have a little bit more budget, there are companies that will build your app for you based off of templates that they work on. And then you can go all the way up to the custom ones that will cost you
6 figures.
So yeah, so the SMS and push notifications are two very different things, and I would say that absolutely the push notifications are going to take over the majority of SMS. So the example of the SMS being the trigger to download the app, when push notifications are embedded on the device itself or on the network, that will no longer be the channel. So SMS will not be in play there. It will be a push notification. As a user, you won't know the difference, right. But as a technology provider, there will be a difference.
So what's going to happen in this space in the next 12 months?
I'd say, so consolidation, I would say one of the biggest consolidations is probably going to happen in the advertising space. There are so many ad networks out there. Everyone knows that's the first place where money actually lives. So everyone's trying to capture that money. And there's just too many providers of that service to be around next year. People are going to buy each other. People are going to fail. That's going to be an interesting place to look at.
Okay.